Are we alone? I mean,
Mm.
it's the question, isn't it? That huge cosmic question that's, well, it's fascinated us forever.
It really has. Wondering if we're the only ones in this unbelievably vast universe.
Exactly. And today, we're diving into something genuinely groundbreaking. News from NASA that it feels like it nudges us just a little bit closer to maybe answering that, at least for our neighbor Mars.
It's pretty exciting stuff.
Okay, so let's unpack this. NASA's Perseverance rover, yeah. It's found something they're calling a potential biosignature. Carefully, but
Yeah.
you can sense the excitement.
Potential being the key word there, but still a very big deal.
Right. And this wasn't just stumbled upon anywhere. It was pinpointed, deep inside Jezero Crater on Mars.
Which we know was likely a lake, wasn't it? Billions of years ago. About the size of Lake Tahoe, they think.
That's the one. And Perseverance went looking in a specific spot within Jezero, an ancient, dried-up riverbed. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Follow the water.
Precisely. Water is key.
The actual rock they sampled, or, well, the rock containing the potential signature, is nicknamed Cheyava Falls.
Catchy name.
And that rock is part of a larger area called the Bright Angel Formation,
Okay.
which, get this, sits right on the edge of Neretva Vallis, this ancient river valley, like a quarter-mile wide, that once carved its way into Jezero. You can just picture the water rushing through.
Wow. So a very specific, geologically interesting place.
Exactly. And the sample itself, the core they drilled, is called Sapphire Canyon.
Sapphire Canyon. Got it.
This all happened, the actual discovery at Cheyava Falls, back in July 2024. But the findings, after all the analysis and, crucially, peer review, just got published. September 10th, 2025, in Nature.
Nature. Yeah, that's significant. That means it's been thoroughly vetted by other scientists.
Absolutely. A huge moment.
And it's really fascinating, to understand the level of scientific precision involved here. When scientists talk about a potential biosignature,
Yeah, what does that actually mean? It sounds exciting, but also cautious.
it is cautious. It means they found something, a substance, maybe a chemical pattern, a mineral structure, that might have been made by life.
Might have been.
Okay. The emphasis is really, really on might. It's like a very strong lead, something that makes you say, okay, we really need to look closer at this.
Yep. Not proof.
Definitely not proof, not yet. It needs more data, more study. Ideally, getting those samples back to Earth for analysis in our labs would be the clincher.
Right. You need labs with equipment much bigger than you can fit on a rover.
Exactly. So it's a tantalizing clue, a huge step, but it's not the final word on life on Mars, not by a long shot.
That's such an important distinction, isn't it? It avoids overhyping things before the evidence is totally solid.
It does. Science has to be rigorous, especially with a claim this profound.
Okay, so let's dig into the evidence itself. What did Perseverance actually find in that Sapphire Canyon sample that got scientists so intrigued?
Right. Well, this is where the rover's amazing instruments come in. It's basically a rolling geology lab.
Not just snapping pictures, then.
Oh, far from it. The key players here were PIXL. Yeah, the planetary instrument for X-ray lithochemistry. It maps out the chemical elements in tiny spots on the rock.
Okay.
And Sherlock, that's scanning habitable environments with Raman and luminescence for organics and chemicals. It looks for organic molecules and certain minerals.
Wow, sophisticated tools.
Yeah.
So what did PXL and Sherlock see on Sapphire Canyon?
Well, first off, the rock itself, this Bright Angel Formation sedimentary rock, is mostly clay and silt.
And that's good.
On Earth, that's fantastic. Fine-grained stuff like clay and silt is excellent at preserving delicate traces of past life, like microbial fossils or chemical signatures, like a natural time capsule.
Okay, so the rock type itself is promising.
Very promising. And then the
Okay.
chemistry, that's where it got really interesting. These rocks are rich in organic carbon.
Organic carbon, meaning
First
carbon
some-
bonded in ways often associated with life.
Exactly. Plus sulfur, oxidized iron, basically rust and phosphorus.
Okay.
Now, the lead author on the Nature paper, Joel Hurowitz, pointed out that this specific mix, well, could have been a rich source of energy for microbial metabolisms.
Like a buffet for microbes.
Kind of, yeah. The building blocks and the energy sources potentially all right there in the rock and the water that deposited it.
Okay, so the setting is right, the chemistry is right. Did they see anything weird, like visually?
They did. This is pretty cool. Perseverance's cameras spotted these distinctive, colorful spots on the Cheyava Falls rock face. It's about, 3 feet by 2 feet?
Uh-huh.
And these spots formed patterns, kind of like mineral boundaries that the scientists called reaction fronts. They even nicknamed the whole look leopard spots.
Leopard spots on Mars. Okay, I like that. And what were these spots made of?
That's where PISL and Sherlock zeroed in. The spots had the chemical fingerprint of two specific iron-rich minerals. Vivianite.
Vivianite.
It's a hydrated iron phosphate. And the other one was grigite. That's an iron sulfide.
Vivianite and grigite. Okay, those are specific. Why are those two, especially together, such a big deal in the hunt for life?
Well, it comes down to where we find them here on Earth. Vivianite, you often find it in lake sediments, peat bogs, places with lots of organic material and low oxygen. Sometimes its formation is linked to microbial activity,
Okay.
but grigite is even more intriguing. While it can form without life, certain types of microbes on Earth actually produce grigite. It's a byproduct of how they live, how they process iron and sulfur.
So microbes literally make this stuff.
Some do, yes, particularly certain bacteria that use iron for energy. So when you find vivianite and grigite together in these patterns, these leopard spots.
Yeah.
And they seem to have formed through what are called electron transfer reactions between the sediments and the organic matter present.
Wait, electron transfer reactions. Can you break that down quickly?
Sure. Think of it like how life gets energy. A lot of microbes breathe by moving electrons from one chemical substance to another. It's like a tiny electrical circuit that releases energy they can use.
Okay, like their version of respiration.
Exactly. So seeing minerals that likely formed through these kinds of reactions involving organic matter and the rock itself, it's like seeing a potential sign of that microbial energy generation process. It's a possible fingerprint of life at work.
Wow. Okay, that does sound compelling. The right place, the right rock, the right chemicals, these specific minerals often linked to life on Earth and signs of energy processes microbes use.
It lines up quite nicely, doesn't it?
It really does, but science isn't about just finding things that line up. You have to try and knock it down, right?
Yeah.
So what are the non-life explanations? How could vivianite and grigite form without Martian microbes?
That's the absolutely critical question. And yes, they can form abiotically without life. You might get them if you have sustained high temperatures or maybe really acidic water conditions, or sometimes certain organic compounds can help them form even at lower temperatures.
So could those have happened at Cheyava Falls?
Well, based on all the other data Perseverance has gathered about the Bright Angel Formation, it seems unlikely. The walks don't show signs of being cooked at high temperatures, nor do they seem to have been steeped in strong acid.
Okay, so that rules out some big abiotic possibilities.
It makes them less likely, yes. The trickier part is whether the specific organic compounds found there could somehow have catalyzed these mineral formations at low temperatures without biology lending a hand. That's still an open question.
So there's still uncertainty.
Oh, absolutely. That's why Katie Stack Morgan, the rover's project scientist, was careful to say that while abiotic explanations seem less likely based on the paper, they absolutely cannot be ruled out.
Right. The burden of proof is incredibly high.
As it should be. We've been down this road before. Remember the excitement around the Martian meteorite ALH 84,001 years ago?
Oh yeah, the potential microfossils.
Yeah.
That eventually leaned more towards abiotic explanations, didn't it?
Largely, yes. It taught the community a lot about the need for multiple, independent lines of evidence and extreme caution.
Still, even with that caution, this feels different, maybe stronger. And it's definitely making waves. I saw the acting NASA administrator, Sean Duffy, made a statement. I should just report this impartially for you.
Okay.
He said, this finding by Perseverance, launched under President Trump in his first term, is the closest we have ever come to discovering life on Mars. The identification of a potential biosignature on the red planet is a groundbreaking discovery.
Well, it certainly is groundbreaking, regardless of how you frame it politically. And connecting it to the bigger picture, one of the most, frankly, stunning things about this is where they found it in terms of time. These Bright Angel rocks are some of the youngest sedimentary rocks Perseverance has looked at.
Younger. Wait, I thought the idea was always to look for life in the really, really old rocks from when Mars was warmer and wetter.
That was the prevailing hypothesis for a long time. We assumed that if life ever got started, the best chance of finding traces would be way back then, maybe 3 or 4 billion years ago.
So finding this potential sign in younger rocks,
Yeah.
what does that imply?
It's potentially huge. It suggests that the window for habitability on Mars, the period when conditions might have been right for life, could have lasted much, much longer than we thought.
Wow. So Mars might have been livable more recently.
Or perhaps habitable periods occurred later in its history than we assumed, maybe hundreds of millions of years later. It forces us to rethink the timeline of Martian habitability.
That's a massive shift in perspective.
Yeah.
A game changer, really.
It is. It means we shouldn't just focus our search on the most ancient terrains. These younger geological formations are clearly worth investigating deeply, too.
And maybe those older rocks still hold signs, but they're just harder to spot now.
That's also possible. Perhaps the preservation wasn't as good, or the signs are more subtle. But this discovery definitely broadens the search parameters significantly. It's exciting.
It really is. And thinking about that potentially longer window for life, it makes all the other data Perseverance is collecting seem even more relevant, doesn't it? Like the weather monitoring.
Absolutely. It's not just hunting for past life. Perseverance carries META, the Mars Environmental Dynamics Analyzer. It's a weather station, essentially.
Tracking temperature, dust, radiation.
Exactly. All critical information for planning future human missions. Understanding the current environment is key to knowing how astronauts could eventually live and work there.
And isn't it carrying spacesuit samples, too?
It is an experiment called Mars EVA. It has little swatches of spacesuit materials exposed to the Martian elements.
To see how they hold up.
Precisely. Studying their durability, how they degrade in the dust and radiation over time. It's all practical data needed before we send people. So understanding the past habitability and understanding the present environment for future explorers, it all ties together.
It's a really comprehensive approach. Okay, so back at this potential biosignature.
Yeah.
The paper's out in Nature. It's been peer-reviewed. What happens next in the scientific community? How do they sort of collectively evaluate something this big?
Yeah, it's not just one lab's opinion. Nikki Fox over at NASA Science emphasized that publishing makes the data available for everyone to scrutinize, to try and confirm or refute its biological potential.
So other scientists will try to poke holes in it or build on it.
Both. There are established frameworks for this, actually. One tool is called the Confidence of Life Detection Scale, or COLDIS scale.
COLD scale.
Yep. It has 7 levels, basically benchmarks for how confident we can be about a life detection claim. It starts low, like level 1, this feature needs more investigation, and goes all the way up to level 7, definitive life detection.
So this finding is probably somewhere low on that scale right now.
Oh, definitely. Maybe level 1 or 2. It requires building multiple independent lines of evidence to move up the scale. It forces that rigorous process, demanding more data, perhaps alternative interpretations, ruling out those abiotic mimics we talked about.
It prevents another ALH 84001 situation where excitement maybe got ahead of the evidence.
That's the goal. Transparency, peer review, using agreed-upon standards. It's how scientific consensus is built, especially for something potentially revolutionary.
It's a careful, deliberate process. Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, we've gone from Jezero Crater to leopard spots, Vivianite, Greigite, electron transfers, and the whole rigorous scientific process. What's the big takeaway here for you, for our listeners?
I think the core takeaway is that this is a significant, meticulously examined discovery. It's not proof of life. Let's be clear on that again.
Right. Crucial point.
But it is compelling evidence that genuinely expands our view of Mars's potential to have hosted life, and possibly for longer than we imagined. It shows science progressing, not always with a sudden eureka, but with careful steps, intriguing clues, and questions that just get deeper and more fascinating.
It's a testament to sticking with it, isn't it? The persistence of the science.
Absolutely. And the ingenuity behind instruments like PLXL and Sherlock, probing another world from millions of miles away.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. If Mars, our seemingly barren neighbor, might have been habitable more recently or for longer than we thought, what does that imply? What could that mean about the chances for life elsewhere? Maybe in those hidden oceans on moons like Europa or Enceladus, or even planets far beyond our solar system.
It really does make you wonder, doesn't it, if the conditions for life, or at least potential habitability, could persist for longer or arise in more varied environments than we assumed.
It suggests maybe life isn't such an incredible long shot after all.
It certainly invites us to keep looking, and perhaps to look in places and time frames we hadn't seriously considered before. It definitely broadens the horizons of possibility. Makes you think about what else is out there, waiting to be discovered.